The whole idea of this car was to do a Geiger meets ancient Egypt theme. So I had to do some research. I mean, I've learned a little bit about, you know, Egyptian gods and art and all that. So I picked out a few of them that I thought were interesting and decided to incorporate them into the artwork.
They're in the artwork, and many represent Mike's sly sense of humor.
There's lots of little things that I'm hiding in this paint job. It's not just a bunch of stuff going on. There's actually some pretty cool stuff going on. Little hieroglyphics. Here we got like a little sort of a reptilian-looking eye looking out from inside the whole thing.
That eye will soon see a lot of people staring at this ride.
Now what I'm doing right now is I'm basically taking my little guideline that we sprayed down earlier, and I'm just enhancing it. So I'm getting rid of it, actually.
The detail he achieves is amazing, and in this case, it's done with few colors.
And the whole thing about this car that we're doing is all two colors, basically. The artwork is black and white. You're just playing with light and dark and shadow and building shape and form with it. So you don't have to get all confused with colors and anything like that. Just remember where your light source is, go to town.
This work also represents Mike's newfound knowledge of Egyptian history.
I was calling this the Eye of Ra. And it's not the Eye of Ra, it's the Eye of Horus, I think. So, all you Egyptologists out there, I'm sorry.
Back with Yvonne, the figure on her hood also has a mythic quality. She's an electric shock of a beauty who could have a story rivaling even a pharaoh's history. So while the goddess on Yvonne's hood evolves, Mike makes his art look three-dimensional.
This is kind of one of my favorite parts right here. It's sort of like an air intake, but I made it look like the inside of a rib cage. Like if you took a side of beef and you cut it in half, and you look like the inside of a rib cage. When this is cleared, it's going to look like you can stick your hand right back in here.
And sometimes Mike's details come from places you'll never figure out until he explains it all.
My friend Nicole was in here the other day with her little daughter while I was working on it. And she had a fistful of Twizzlers, the little red licorice. And we were showing her the hood, and she took the Twizzlers and went, bam! She threw them on the hood, right? So I cleaned it all up, and as a sort of like a paying tribute to that little episode, I painted the hair on this god here to look like Twizzlers.
He puts a lot of work into every area, with new areas yet to be started.
I just kind of want it probably right about there at that angle.
With more stencil work on the ride, Mike will now confront yet another creature here on the G6. At Crazy Painters, Yvonne has quickly taken the hood from bare to bold, making incredible headway with her graphics. Her tribute to Fritz Lang and his metropolis-like creation comes to life, as masking is soon replaced by hand templates that shape the details. Peeling away the masking is always the fun part, the reward that comes after a lot of hard work. And now that the hood is closer to completion, what comes next? For Mike, it's the always entertaining Pef, a man with a special problem.
Did you let the chicks in the shop?
I told them to stay outside.
Damn it, I told them I was working, they won't leave me alone.
You're a chick magnet.
As for his design, Mike's kicked it up a notch.
In the words of Emerald Lagasse, bam!
With LaValle, his intricate murals bring one cool surprise and story after the other.
What I got going on underneath here is sort of like a TV screen, X-ray screen type of thing. So it's going to look like a piece of glass. And the edge was getting a little cloudy on the edges, so I want to crisp it up. So I put the mask back over it. And I'm just redefining that dark edge around the outside so it'll pop the glass away from the background.
So as the masking comes off, this bonehead finally gets a look outside. Meanwhile, Yvonne's creature of the moment is getting a few thousand volts. Shock waves that might explain the electric look in her eyes. Eyes we will again see once more masking is peeled away. And after the masking, it's time to take a moment and make all of this personal for Yvonne. At Mike's, the archaeological dig includes a chemical reaction.
Okay, in the movie Alien, the alien's blood was sort of like an acid. So I want to make this stone kind of look like it's been eaten away, like if something dropped on it and sort of ate away a little divot out of the stone. So what I did is I kind of made a little rough outline of a shape and then start filling in. Remember, the light's coming from up here, so the shadow is going to be, if I wanted to look in, I'm going to put the shadow on the upper side and the light on the bottom side. Highlight the edge. Little stuff like that really makes a big difference.
It's a mix of elements displayed here, both mineral and animal.
Just got to look cool, you know?
Mike's melding of sci-fi and ancient history comes together.
When I'm done with this, it's going to look like bands of muscle. You know, like this is like a skin that there's portholes in. You can see the muscle bands underneath like this.
A lot is coming together back at Crazy Painters. Yvonne's ride is looking good. And to help with some final steps, our artist is lucky to have one of the top pinstripers in the business.
Yvonne, you want to fix these colors?
Tom Kelly's palette has an amazing history.
This is my palette. This is what I use. And this was made by Big Daddy Ed's Ross' father. It was made for me. And he made one for his son too, Ed. And I've been using it ever since, almost 50 years. So it's all I've ever used. This has a lot of history with it.
For Tom, the car is not complete without the pinstriping.
I've always compared it to like a three-piece suit without putting the tie on, you know, or a pair of tennis shoes without the shoelaces. It just doesn't look finished. You know, a nice, proper stripe helps every car. There isn't any car out there that can't have a stripe that wouldn't help it.
And of course, when you stripe like Tom, you also do expert lettering. It's a trade as old as the car itself, and it's never gone out of style, taking any vehicle and making it look better. LaValle once had quite a career as a pinstriper, but now his more elaborate graphics have become his stock in trade. Graphics that take time to make just right.
I mean, that looks okay like that, but when you do this, I could hand cut all these things. This is just an incredible time saver, and just like anything else, it's another tool to get my job done. See, now they look like they're indented into that metal. I miss you, Yvonne. I hope you're doing well with your car down there. I got a little surprise in store for you.
A surprise from a guy full of surprises.
There you go. Cool.